a boy steals his crush's gym clothes. But this isn't a quirky rom-com. It's the start of a descent into psychological hell, animated in a way that will make your skin crawl. And honestly, I think it's brilliant. Before we dive into the abyss, let's get the facts straight. Flowers of Evil, or Aku no Hana, is a 13-episode series from 2013 by Studio ZEXCS, directed by the visionary Hiroshi Nagahama. It's an adaptation of a completed manga by Shuzo Oshimi. This isn't your typical high school drama. It's a raw psychological romance that polarized audiences like few others. The main reason? Its controversial use of rotoscoping, a technique where animators trace over live-action footage. This choice made it look unlike any other anime at the time, and for many, it was an immediate deal-breaker. Our protagonist, Takao Kasuga, is a boy who thinks he's deeper than everyone else because he reads Baudelaire's Les Fleurs du Mal. I found him immediately fascinating because he's so painfully relatable in his teenage pretension. He worships his classmate Nanako Saiki from afar, seeing her not as a person, but as a muse, an angel. When he impulsively steals her gym uniform, it's not just a perverted act. It's a desperate, pathetic attempt to push up as a piece of his idealized reality. This single decision shatters his carefully constructed world and invites chaos in. And that chaos has a name, Sawa Nakamura. She sees Kasuga's theft, and instead of exposing him, she forges a twisted contract. For me, Nakamura is one of the most compelling antagonists in anime. She is a nihilist who despises the polite fictions of their small town. Calling everyone shitbugs, she sees the same hypocrisy in Kasuga, buried under his poetry books, and makes it her mission to rip it out into the open. She doesn't want money. She wants to see his true, ugly self, to find a fellow pervert in a world of fakes. This is where the show becomes truly uncomfortable, and I mean that as a compliment. Nakamura's demands force Kasuga into situations that are excruciating to watch. Their dates are exercises in humiliation and boundary pushing. What struck me most was how the show captures the suffocating atmosphere of a small Japanese town. The quiet streets, the identical houses, the feeling of being constantly watched. It all builds this immense pressure. Kasuga is trapped between Nakamura's demand for authenticity and society's demand for conformity, and you can feel him starting to crack under the strain. Okay, let's talk about the rotoscoping. I know many people hate it, calling it ugly or janky, but here's my hot take. This show would be half as effective without it. Traditional, clean anime art would have romanticized the ugliness of these characters' emotions. The rotoscoping, however, makes it real. It captures every awkward twitch, every hesitant gesture, every ugly facial expression. It grounds the psychological horror in a mundane reality that feels deeply personal and unsettling. The uncanny valley effect isn't a flaw. It's the entire point. It's supposed to make your skin crawl. Caught in the middle of this psychological war is Nanako Saeki, the class idol. At first, she seems like a simple prize to be won, the symbol of normalcy. But the show gives her a surprising amount of depth. When Kasuga, in a moment of madness, confesses everything to her, her reaction isn't simple disgust. It's a complex mix of fear, fascination, and eventually a desire to understand the darkness he represents. Her own journey shows how fragile that perfect girl persona is, and how quickly it can crumble when faced with something that doesn't fit the script. The show's absolute peak, for me, is the classroom vandalism scene in episode 7. This is the moment Kasuga and Nakamura's pact culminates in a final, explosive act of rebellion. Under the cover of darkness, they completely destroy their classroom, painting their manifesto, "The Flowers of Evil," across the walls and blackboard. It's a terrifying, exhilarating, and deeply sad sequence. I remember watching it for the first time, my heart pounding. It's not just teenage angst, it's a primal scream against a world they feel is choking them. It's the point of no return. The aftermath is just as compelling as the act itself. The adult world is completely incapable of understanding what happened. Teachers and parents see only delinquency, a problem to be solved with punishment and therapy. They miss the deep existential pain that drove the kids to this point. This section of the story is a powerful critique of how society pathologizes teenage rebellion instead of listening to its cause. Kasuga and Nakamura become local legends, monsters in a ghost story, further isolating them and reinforcing their belief that no one will ever understand. Now, for the one major issue I have with this anime, and it's a big one. The series ends after adapting only about half of the source manga. It stops on a massive cliffhanger right after the summer festival, leaving the story completely unresolved. This was incredibly frustrating for me as a first-time viewer. While the 13 episodes form a self-contained arc of descent, you are left without the crucial second half of the story, which is about redemption and growth. It's a fantastic, haunting journey. But be warned, the anime doesn't provide a destination. So, should you watch Flowers of Evil? My answer is a very conditional yes. If you are looking for a comfortable watch, a fun romance, or a typical anime experience, please stay far away from this. It will make you feel anxious and deeply uncomfortable. However, if you appreciate bold, experimental art and want a psychological drama that truly challenges you, this is essential viewing. It's a flawed masterpiece that dares to be ugly, real, and unforgettable. For me, it's one of the bravest anime adaptations ever made, even with its incomplete story. Thank you so much for watching this dive into a truly unique show. If you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of viewer I make these videos for. Drop a like if you found this interesting, and subscribe to Top Screen Tales for more deep dives. Most importantly, let me know in the comments, what challenging film or series should I cover next?